Well, welcome back to TBA. There's still plenty to come on today's show. We've been receiving your messages about the new Barbican Centre exhibit Rain Room by Random International. Of course, the rain being a regular topic of conversation in this country. It's frequent, it's unpredictable, and I think it's something we all wish we had a little bit more control over.
Well, it seems that in this exceptional exhibition, you can do just that. Let's watch the trailer, and then we'll discuss it with our specialist reviewer, Athena Bunty.
Well, it looks absolutely incredible, but can you just tell me what exactly is the Rain Room? So when you go in, what happens?
OK, the curve in the Barbican is the perfect space for it. You go in, it's a dark room lit only by one really bright light. It makes the perfect atmosphere, and you have this, like, 1,000 litres of water falling down. It's amazing. OK,
so you can actually, from what I understand, you can stop the rain wherever you are.
Yeah, there are 3D sensor cameras on each side, and as you walk in, you deactivate or activate the mechanism, so you actually feel this control as you walk through the rain. It stops.
Amazing. So you're actually controlling the weather inside this room.
It is, it is. Actually, though, I do have to add that it's not just that, the control sensation. The rain, I think, is a very emotional element, like a natural element that makes you feel maybe sad or happy or whatever. You see people reacting to that, and that's why I think the artists have said that the installation by itself, it's nothing without the human element in it.
Absolutely. But it is, nonetheless, an incredible sort of technological achievement, and I suppose made possible by increases in technology. So what is the sort of relationship between this product and digital culture in general?
Well, this is a fine example of how new technologies can be amazing tools in the hands of artists and designers, and this actually is a new form of art that we have nowadays, and maybe that's why people sometimes dispute whether it is art or it isn't. But in the end, if you have this sensation that stays with you when you leave the space, that's what it's all about.
I mean, it just looks like a lot of fun, even if you just kind of went there as not from an art point of view, just for kind of the amazement factor of it. I mean, it's something that I'm going to go and see. And I think you said it's free as well, is that right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, it runs until March. OK,
and is there a website we can kind of go on to check this one out? Is it the Barbican, is that right?
Yeah, if you log into the main Barbican website, you can see all the details. OK, super. Well, it's been great to speak to you. And I know this is kind of an expert area of yours. With your kind of experience, and we talked about the increases in technology facilitating these kind of amazing exhibits, what do you predict for kind of the future of art forms like these? Oh, well, great things. And London is a huge stage for these kind of exhibitions, and this actually stands out. It's nice when you explore different elements, and actually the artists came up with this by experimenting with water falling down into a canvas full of colour, and they actually came up with the rain afterwards. So experimentation is a very important element in this whole process, and I believe, yes, we have many new things to come ahead that will be very exciting.
Very exciting indeed. It's been lovely to speak to you. Thank you for coming in.
It's a pleasure.
Oh, super. Lovely to chat to Athena. And now I believe it's back to you, Caroline.
Thank you, Chris. It's definitely one that's not to be missed. Well, we're all familiar with Tom and Jerry, The Jungle Book and Ice Age. Animation is hugely popular, and regardless of our age, almost all of us have a childlike love for it. Let's meet John Davide to talk about a different and unique kind of animation, sand animation. John, thank you so much for coming into the studio.
Hello.
This is fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Have you drawn, Chris?
You could say I've drawn Chris. I've put a bit of Daniel Craig in there, hopefully.
More facial hair required.
Yeah,
think,
the
John,
November tash is needed.
Yes,
a bit of stubble would be good, actually.
We'll get a bit stubbling.
I mean, it's such a unique style of animation. How did you get into this in the first place?
Well, I've been interested in animation for a while. I saw a lot of stop-motion animation when I was a kid. But basically, sand animation, I saw a film by a woman called Caroline Leaf, who I believe teaches here.
Right.
and it just completely inspired me. And I was making a film for a friend's band, and I was trying to figure out what the best kind of, I suppose, medium to use was. And after seeing that, I gave it a shot, and I just loved the power of it because it's very stark. The sand makes where the sand is black, and where the light comes through, it's very white and bleached. So it has quite a kind of an emotional, I suppose, intensity to it, which I used for that kind of animation.
It's so intricate, and I'm guessing you can't do all of this like that. It's going to take a huge amount of time.
This picture, as you know, it's taken a little bit of time to do, but the wonderful thing about sound animation is that it allows you to transform an image kind of on the paper, or in this case on the glass in front of you. So, for example, if I could transfer the Bond character here, I can make him, as he's a bit of a death dealer, I'm going to slowly turn him into death.
Perfect. Well,
yeah,
let's have a look at you in action. Let's do that right now.
Let's have a look. I think that's pretty awesome. When we look at a frame like this and then you see a film like we've just seen, how long would it sort of typically take you to make a film like that?
Well, I mean, it depends on the length of the film, obviously, but in a good day, if I had a whole clear day to work, I might get 8 seconds done.
OK.
Oh,
Can we have it?
That's on a good day.
OK.
Why don't you start, and me and Chris will just observe.
No problem.
We'll try
what I'll
not to
do is
get
I'll speed up the
involved.
process if that helps. So what I'll do is, rather than doing like a whole transformation frame by frame, I'll kind of basically make bigger jumps.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer him into a kind of death face with a cowl. And so let's just say I'm going to jump ahead now. So I'm going to start off with his eyes. I'll just make his eyes start looking a bit more skeletal.
OK.
So I will have taken a photo of that first shot of him looking kind of very Bond-like.
Yep.
Okay.
And I might kind of add a bit more to tone to his cheekbones as well.
That's already a bit scary, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Isn't
I
it
know.
just? Obviously, I wouldn't do it as quickly as this, but in this case, I'm just doing
sure.
it for the purpose of the fact that we're doing this in a short frame of time.
Yeah, sure thing.
So I'm going to just put a bit more kind of, I guess, sand, just more darkness into the shot itself, because I'm going to use that later on.
Right, OK.
And get that in. So that might be the first, well, the first of the 4 shots maybe I'm going to do for you now.
Yeah.
Maybe just narrow the nose a bit, narrow the face a little bit.
It's such a
start
quick...
kind of getting rid of the hair a little bit.
Oh,
So
and I
that
can see lots of little brushes here.
Yeah, that's basically just for the size of the work. It's a bit like when you're painting a picture, you know, if you want to move a lot of sand, you use a bigger brush. If you want to make a more detailed kind of line, you can use a small brush. Sometimes I even use the back end of it because it's you know, it's nice for getting those little fine scratches.
Right.
So then I might tidy that up a bit just so it looks a bit more decent, because obviously I've just literally thrown the sand on and stuff. Or pattern that out, or maybe put a kind of just a bit of...
It's very detailed. What do you think the advantages are of sand animation and maybe drawn animation?
Right, well, I mean, what the technique allows you to do, really, is do lovely transformations in a spontaneous way. I mean, obviously, it takes time in the sense that, you know, it might take you a while to do a few seconds of animation, but the actual making of the transformation you can do without having to kind of work it out first or do it mathematically on a computer. You're kind of basically just redrawing, and then you're taking a photograph. And what that allows you to do, really, is just really do lots of kind of great magical things, but in a very simplistic, kind of untechnical way. So I'm going to start taking away a bit more of his nose now.
OK.
So
yeah, see a quick transformation. It's amazing how quickly it changes.
And all I'm doing really is taking out a lot of the tone in his face. So he's now kind of looking more pallid and skeletal, I guess. And then what I might do is I might bring some of this in a bit more.
Oh, OK, so give more of an outline. OK.
Yeah, because that towards the end is going to become like a kind of, you know, like a hood.
OK.
So yeah.
He is looking really skeletal, actually.
He is, yeah.
Yeah. So that would be, say, this is shot number 3 of the 4. So, but obviously I'm doing large leaps.
Right. Okay.
And then, yeah, so that'd be another snapshot, say. And then finally, I'd probably get rid of all the hair.
Yeah.
So we turn his forehead into a skull's head.
I see. So we're saying the kind of process of...
We're seeing a sped up kind of, and we're making bigger jumps.
Okay.
You know, so what, you know, the jumps I'm making here would be broken down into, say, probably 16 times more.
Right, OK.
Or
do you stop, take a photo, move
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
You make but also it depends, I suppose, how quickly you want the transformation to take. Because if you want it to be really gradual and subtle, you'll take longer. Whereas if you want it to be quick, you won't take so many shots to do it. So,
but even in this short space of time, that's totally
And then all I'm doing there is I'm just bringing all that sand in, and
that's amazing.
He's kind of...
He's a hooded skull.
Absolutely. He's turning into the angel of death, really, which is kind of... Yeah, absolutely.
That's brilliant. Now, John, where can we find out more if people want to kind of look at your works and a website that we can look at?
I haven't got my own website yet, but that is coming, which will be dondavidanimation.com, but it's not up and running yet. But for now, you can look me up on, if you Google me, YouTube, Vimeo.
Yep.
I've done some collaboration with some bands. I'm actually working right at the moment with a couple of people at the moment.
And have you got any future works or?
Yes, there's. I'm doing a promo for a guy called Bill Ryder Jones, who was the lead guitarist in the Coral.
Fantastic.
And I'm also working, funnily enough, with one of his ex-bandmates, Paul Duffy, and a singer called Eva Peterson. They're all from the Wirral and Liverpool area.
Brilliant.
And we're actually putting together a kind of a folk fable about a guy who. Who's haunted by his past.
Well, on that note, I think we'll say thank you, John.
Thanks very much.
For coming into the studio. Now, coming up after the break, we'll discuss 2 of the most anticipated cinema releases of the year, The Hobbit and Les Miserables.
And don't forget, we'll have actress Tonia Sotiropoulou in the studio to tell us about her role in Berberian Sound Studio and her experience as the SkyFall Bond girl. Stay tuned.